The United States in 2024 finds itself at a crossroads, grappling with a complex web of challenges and opportunities. From the halls of power in Washington, D.C. to the homes of everyday Americans, the nation is engaged in a constant dialogue about its present and its future. Politically, the country remains sharply divided, with deep partisan rifts shaping the national conversation. Socially, movements for equality and justice continue to push for progress, while cultural clashes highlight the country's evolving identity. Economically, the U.S. faces uncertainty, with inflation, potential recession, and global instability casting a shadow on the future. Technological advancements offer both promise and peril, raising questions about automation, privacy, and the very nature of work. Amidst these challenges, however, lies the enduring spirit of the American people, a spirit of innovation, resilience, and a commitment to forging a more perfect union.
The political landscape of the United States remains deeply polarized, with Democrats and Republicans locked in a struggle for power. The aftermath of the 2020 election continues to cast a long shadow, with questions about election integrity lingering. The Biden administration faces mounting pressure from both the left and the right. Progressive Democrats push for bolder action on climate change, healthcare, and income inequality, while Republicans oppose many of the administration's policies. The upcoming midterm elections could reshape the balance of power in Congress.
Beyond the political arena, American society is grappling with a range of social issues that are reshaping the nation's cultural and moral fabric. Movements for social justice, ignited by the death of George Floyd and fueled by a growing awareness of systemic racism and inequality, continue to demand change. The Black Lives Matter movement has sparked a national conversation about race and policing, prompting calls for police reform and racial justice across various sectors of society. The LGBTQ+ community continues to advocate for equal rights and protections, celebrating victories in areas such as marriage equality while still facing discrimination and prejudice. The issue of immigration remains a contentious one, with sharp divisions over border security, the treatment of undocumented immigrants, and the future of DACA recipients. The debate over abortion rights has also intensified in recent years, with several states enacting restrictive abortion laws and the Supreme Court poised to potentially overturn Roe v. Wade. These social issues highlight the deep divisions within American society, reflecting a nation grappling with its identity and its values.
The U.S. economy is navigating uncertainty and volatility. Inflation has soared, eroding purchasing power and raising concerns. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates to curb inflation, sparking recession fears. COVID-19 continues to disrupt supply chains and labor markets. The gap between the wealthy and the poor is widening. Rising costs strain middle-class families. Despite challenges, the U.S. economy remains resilient. The tech sector drives growth and innovation. The economic outlook remains uncertain, with opportunities and challenges ahead.
Section 5. The Tech Frontier, Innovation, and Disruption. The United States remains at the forefront of technological innovation, with Silicon Valley and other tech hubs continuing to churn out groundbreaking advancements that are reshaping the world.
Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and automation are rapidly transforming industries, creating new possibilities, while also raising concerns about job displacement and the future of work.
Social media platforms continue to dominate the digital landscape, shaping public discourse, influencing consumer behavior, and raising questions about privacy, misinformation, and the role of technology in society.
The rise of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology has also disrupted traditional financial systems, offering both opportunities and risks for investors and consumers alike.
The U.S. government is grappling with how to regulate this rapidly evolving technological landscape, balancing the need to foster innovation with the responsibility to protect consumers and address ethical concerns.
The future of the U.S. economy and its global competitiveness will depend in large part on its ability to harness the power of technology while mitigating its potential downsides.
Section 6. Global Engagement, American Power in a Changing World. On the global stage, the United States remains a superpower, but its influence is being challenged by the rise of other nations, particularly China.
The rivalry between the US and China is playing out on multiple fronts, from trade and technology to military might and diplomatic influence.
The war in Ukraine has also tested the US's role as a global leader, forcing the Biden administration to navigate a complex geopolitical landscape and provide support to Ukraine while avoiding direct military conflict with Russia.
The US is also grappling with how to address the threat of climate change, which requires global cooperation and action.
The Biden administration has rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement and pledged to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but much more needs to be done to address this existential threat.
The US faces a complex and rapidly changing global landscape, requiring strategic thinking, diplomatic skill, and a willingness to work with allies and adversaries alike to address shared challenges.
Section 7. Environmental challenges, climate change, and policy debates. Climate change is no longer a distant threat, it is a present reality with increasingly severe consequences for the United States.
From more frequent and intense heat waves and hurricanes to rising sea levels and wildfires, the impacts of climate change are being felt across the country.
The scientific consensus on climate change is overwhelming, but it remains a politically divisive issue in the U.S.
While the Biden administration has made climate action a priority, enacting policies to reduce emissions and invest in renewable energy, these efforts face opposition from Republicans and some industries.
The debate over how to address climate change is likely to intensify in the coming years, as the impacts of climate change become more severe and the costs of inaction continue to rise.
The U.S. faces a critical choice act now to mitigate climate change and transition to a more sustainable future, or face the increasingly dire consequences of inaction.
Section 8. Healthcare and crisis access, affordability, and the future. The U.S. healthcare system is often described as being in crisis, plagued by high costs, unequal access, and inconsistent quality of care.
Despite spending more on healthcare per capita than any other developed nation, the U.S. lags behind other countries in key health outcomes. The Affordable Care Act, passed in 2010, expanded health insurance coverage to millions of Americans, but it remains a politically divisive issue, and efforts to repeal or replace it continue.
The COVID-19 pandemic further exposed the weaknesses in the U.S. healthcare system, highlighting disparities in access to care and the financial burden of medical expenses.
Addressing the challenges facing the U.S. healthcare system will require a multifaceted approach, including controlling costs, expanding access to affordable care, and improving the quality and coordination of care.
Section 9. Immigration, a nation divided. Immigration remains one of the most contentious issues in American politics and society.
The U.S. has long been a nation of immigrants, but the issue of immigration has become increasingly polarized in recent years. The Trump administration's hardline immigration policies, including the separation of families at the border and the construction of a border wall, sparked outrage and protests.
The Biden administration has pledged to reverse many of these policies, but it faces challenges in addressing the root causes of migration and reforming the immigration system.
The debate over immigration is complex, encompassing economic, social, and cultural factors. Finding common ground and enacting comprehensive immigration reform will require a nuanced understanding of the issue and a willingness to compromise.
Section 10. Education, investing in the future. Education is often referred to as the cornerstone of a strong democracy, and the quality of education in the U.S. has a direct impact on the nation's future.
However, the U.S. education system faces a number of challenges, including disparities in funding achievement gaps based on race and socioeconomic status, and concerns about teacher shortages and burnout. The COVID-19 pandemic further disrupted education, forcing schools to close and transition to remote learning, which exacerbated existing inequalities.
Investing in education, from early childhood education through higher education, is essential for ensuring that all Americans have the opportunity to succeed.
This includes providing adequate funding supporting teachers and addressing systemic inequities.
Section 11. Conclusion. Navigating the crossroads. The United States in 2024 finds itself at a pivotal moment in its history. The challenges facing the nation are complex and multifaceted, but so too are the opportunities. The U.S. has always been a nation defined by its ability to adapt, innovate, and overcome adversity. By embracing its core values of democracy, equality, and opportunity, and by working together to address its challenges, the U.S. can chart a course towards a brighter future. The path forward will not be easy, and it will require leadership, compromise, and a shared commitment to the common good. But the American spirit, with its enduring belief in the possibility of progress, offers hope that the nation can navigate this crossroads and emerge stronger on the other side.